Welcome back, friend, to Fig and Farm at Home. If you're new here, hey, I'm Danny. I am the host here at Fig and Farm at Home, and I am on a mission to help mamas who are so extremely busy decorate their homes and do it on a budget. Tuesdays, we are diving right into a listener's question, and we are answering it in 10 minutes or less. It is a challenge I try to stick to every single week, and this is no different. Today's question comes from Elizabeth, who is wanting to know how to arrange a room to look cozy. We're going to dive right in. Enjoy today's show. It's Quick Tip Tuesday. You have questions, I have answers, and I am so glad to be answering them for you today. If you have a question that you want answered on the show, pop into my DMs on Instagram at Fig and Farm. Send me an email at figandfarmathome@gmail.com or join the Facebook group and ask there. bit.ly/design101 group. Let's hop to it. Let's answer your question. And if you find value in this, I'm sure someone else will too. So make sure you share with a friend. All right, friend, before I dive into answering Elizabeth's question, I have a question for you. Do you have a burning question that you want answered? Something that you think, I am just kind of curious. Don't be shy. Shoot me an email at hello@figandfarmathome.com and ask away. Chances are, if you have a question, one of the listeners does too. So be the first to ask it. Be brave. I would always tell my first graders that, hey, don't be embarrassed or don't be shy to ask a question, because chances are little Jimmy sitting in the back has that same question. All right, friends, let's dive in. Are you ready? Elizabeth wants to know what goes together and how to arrange a room to look cozy. I'm going to answer that first section there first, Elizabeth. What goes together? That you're going to determine once you understand and have a really great understanding of what your design aesthetic is or your personal design style. Now, Elizabeth, if you've been hanging out for a while with me, you know that I really don't like the big labels that manufacturers and, the design quiz uses. I don't like those. Things like farmhouse, nautical, industrial. I think your style, Elizabeth, is way more nuanced, way more personal. And your style is all about the details, the things that you gravitate to over and over and over again. So without knowing what your personal aesthetic is, I can't necessarily speak to what goes together for you, but I can speak to what creates a nice, cozy, comfortable room arrangement. And that's how I'm going to answer today. But Elizabeth, if you're wanting more, if you're wanting to understand what goes together, we teach that inside of Home Design 101. In fact, it's module number 3, and it is big. It is in detail, and you will definitely walk away with an understanding of what your design style is. Okay, but the rest of the question, how do you arrange a room to look cozy? I want you to think of a couple things. Now, I am focusing here on a family room, a place that might have a couch. That is the room I am focusing on here. But you can apply some of these same things to another room. And my first thought is, do you have a focal point? A lot of times in our spaces, having one focal point, not two, is really critical. Now, we might think often a focal point has to be the TV. In our society, I'm recording this in the United States, we watch a lot of TV, and a lot of times that becomes our focal point. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Pardon my computer. It's talking to me today. But I want to remind you that a focal point doesn't have to be around a TV. In fact, let's challenge ourselves to make it not. But a focal point could be a fireplace or the wall around the fireplace. A focal point could be lovely built-in bookshelves. A focal point could be a bank of windows. It could be a gallery wall. But I want you to choose one. And when you have that focal point, I want you then to think about that being the starting point for how you arrange your furniture. Now, we want to arrange our furniture in a way that evokes conversation, that evokes community, that evokes this idea of let's hang out together. So if you think about a campfire, and let's say I take all of you friends, wouldn't that be so fun to go to it and have a campfire and chitty chat around the campfire? That would be so fun. Let's just imagine for a second that that's what we're doing. We've built a fire. It is roaring. It is fun. We've got maybe the marshmallows out. Maybe we have our drinks and some chips. Whatever we have, we're just sitting and chatting around the campfire. The campfire becomes the center of that, and we bring our chairs in to get a little toasty warm, to hear the other person on the other side of the campfire, to be able to kind of relax a bit. It's very cozy. We're going to bring the campfire illustration to our own home and our living room. And I want you to think about, what is your campfire? And usually that is a coffee table in the center of the conversational area. What seating pieces do you have that create that conversational, that campfire scene? And do you have something that anchors it, like the campfire? So one of the things, Elizabeth, that happens often is we get in this idea of, let's put the furniture against the wall. And sometimes that is the reality. And that reality is maybe because we have a lack of space. And that's okay. But we still want to tuck it in ever so slightly in order to kind of create that conversation piece, that cozy factor, that idea that, hey, I want to talk to you in that chair over there, and I don't want to have to scream it or use a blowhorn to do it. So you want to tuck it in as much as you can. And some of you have very big open concept homes, and you need to be really intentional with not putting things against the wall. Because what's going to happen for you, if that is your case, is you're going to have, it's going to look like a squashed pancake. It's going to look like, and gosh, listen to my analogies today. They are something. But it's going to look like you have kind of alienated, or you're doing completely opposite of what the intention of the room is. Instead of having a very intentional, cozy center like the fireside example, you are squashing it out and making it so flat and spreading out the furniture so far that there's no way you could have conversation. And so I'm going to challenge any of you with an open concept home to pull it in. Now, I do want you to anchor it, not just with the coffee table, but think about what is anchoring your furniture also. And an area rug, if you don't have carpet in that space, is a really pivotal piece here. Because what happens when you have furniture that is just sitting on a hard surface is that it looks like it is floating. It doesn't look like it's intentionally styled. And layers in general, Elizabeth, allow that cozy factor to happen. And you are layering from ground up, from the area rug to the seating to the stuff that's on the coffee table to even the wall treatments. Now, just the other day, I was in a client's home, and she doesn't have necessarily the largest living room, and that's okay. And she also has an oversized couch, which she knows about, but we are trying to remediate. And she's doing a lovely job of doing that. We removed one piece so we could bring in a couple smaller armchairs. But the thing that she had missing was the fireside. She had the coffee table missing. And my challenge to her was, let's put something here to make this space look like it is an intentional, cozy, conversational area. Because when that coffee table is missing, what it looks like, quite honestly, is you just have furniture in a room. And we want to add that layer to make it look like we are inviting and evoking conversation. And that makes cozy. Of course, then we talk about layers like textiles and ambient lighting and all the other things. But creating a very intentional seating area, Elizabeth, is going to help you drastically. The other thing I want you to think about as you're doing that is, where are the walkthroughs? How can you access that seating area? We don't want to block it off. You want to have access around the coffee table, to the chairs, through to the kitchen. And the other thing I want you to think about then is the flat surfaces. Cozy means I can sit back and relax and have the conversation. And I've been mentioning a lot about that coffee table, which is important. But do you have side tables? Do you have places for those friends who you've invited to that fireside chat? Do you have areas for them to put their things, put their drinks, put their snacks? And then, of course, with those flat surfaces, we don't want to put stuff on there for stuff's sake. But if you have a coffee table, styling it with a tray, a plant, a candle, a decorating book, magazines, whatever you have there, that can create a very sweet vignette that is sitting on your coffee table. Of course, allowing space for the stuff to land from the guests that you have in. And even if those guests are just your teeny tinies who are sitting there playing Uno. All right, Elizabeth, I hope that answered your question of how to arrange a room to look cozy. If you have a question just like Elizabeth, I want you to email me, hello@figandfarmathome.com, and I would love to answer your question. Because remember, little Jimmy has a question too, and it's probably the same one. All right, friend, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.